Okay, so here's the thing about Japan. It is one of the most connected countries in the world, but it's also one of the easiest places to get burned by bad coverage. Slow speeds in packed stations, navigation apps that don't work properly, and even worse, eSIMs that won't install could all make for a really uncomfortable trip. So we need an eSIM that will solve those issues. Saily offers multi-network coverage, so that means more reliability. They also claim to be easy to set up and even include security features like a VPN. But how do they compare on price? And what does the installation actually look like? And how's their support? Well, in this video, I'm going to cover all of that. And because you're traveling to Japan, my wife Chloe, who lived there for 2 years and speaks Japanese, will make an appearance with some tips that she hopes will help make your trip just a bit more comfortable. Oh, and if you do decide to go with Saily, I've got an eSIM offer for my viewers that includes airport lounge access and security fast track, but more on that later.
A really useful phrase in Japan is Sumimasen. It basically means excuse me or sorry. So you can use it like if you're squeezing past somebody and you're like, oh, Sumimasen. Or if you need to get somebody's attention, like a waiter's attention in a restaurant, you go Sumimasen, and they should come over. So it's just a really polite way of saying like, excuse me or sorry. You'll use it all the time, especially on the metro in Tokyo when you're squashed in like sardines.
So because Saily are backed by NordVPN, you get some really interesting security features. And every plan includes built-in ad blocking, web protection, and a virtual location feature. And I think ad blocker is probably the one you'll find most useful. According to Saily, on average, it can save almost 30% of your data, and with it turned on, every website you visit consumes less because there will be less to load, which in theory should make your data last longer. Virtual location can act like a VPN and help you appear in different locations, and web protection can block bad websites, help you avoid phishing links, and keep your device secure on public Wi-Fi. Typically, products like this cost money and require time to set up, but in this case, they do come included, and you just toggle these switches inside the app to turn them on. Now, rather than locking you into just one network, in Japan, Saily connects to multiple. So that means your eSIM will either switch between AU by KDDI or SoftBank, and it will choose the network with the strongest signal. And that really matters in Japan because it's an incredibly varied place. You might be fine on one network in Tokyo, but if you're heading to the Japanese Alps or Hokkaido or somewhere more rural, having that ability to switch networks is definitely an advantage. I found Reddit users on Japan travel subs tend to rate SoftBank and KDDI as the two strongest for rural coverage. And I also think it's important to acknowledge that I'm unable to actually go to Japan to test this eSIM, but these two networks are tested by OpenSignal, an analytics company that provides insight into mobile networks. And in Japan, AU by KDDI and SoftBank were both tested, and according to this report, SoftBank have the best 5G availability across the country, and AU, again, otherwise known as KDDI, basically win on every other category, including coverage. So overall, these two networks are pretty strong in Japan. Okay, let's talk about pricing. Now, there's a provider called Ubigi. You may have heard of them. They've got a pretty dedicated fan base in Japan's travel communities, and they're often the benchmark a lot of people use when evaluating other eSIMs. So I want to see how Saily stacks up against them, as well as Airalo and Nomad. And let's start with fixed data. For 10 gigabytes across 30 days, Saily's standard price is $17.99, which puts it in line with the competition and close to Ubigi. But if you use my coupon TMJP15, you'll get 15% off, which makes the price almost $15. And with that coupon, you can also get an exclusive deal that includes lounge passes and fast track. So the link in the description, which is saily.com/TMJP15, takes you straight to an exclusive deal with 15% off. Just click get the deal and you'll see 4 bundles to choose from. If you're going solo, I think the best option here is 20 gigabytes for 30 days, plus a lounge pass and fast track. And if you're traveling with someone, there's a twin bundle with 2 passes for $93. And if you'd rather have unlimited, that starts from $80. So you're gonna get data, online security, and a bit of airport comfort, all sorted in one. Again, that link's in the description, and by using it, you'll be supporting myself and the channel. Now, when it comes to unlimited, Ubigi and Saily are pretty similar in price, but, and this is a big but, when it comes to unlimited data, please remember that it does not mean unlimited speeds, and depending on your usage, you may be throttled. So with Saily, you get 5 gigabytes of high-speed data every single day before speeds reduce to 1 megabits per second. Ubigi works slightly differently. You get 30 gigabytes across the full 15 days before throttling kicks in, so roughly 2 gigabytes a day, which I think is fine for light usage. But if you have like a big day and burn through 6 or 7 gigabytes, then you're going to be eating into the rest of the trip and there's no reset. And then there's Olafly at $50.90 for the same 15 days. They're more expensive than both and they're a lot less transparent around throttling. In this instance, I would recommend Saily. You're going to get far more high-speed data across 15 days, and with my coupon, it's actually cheaper than Ubigi at $36.48. Again, that's TMJP15 for 15% off.
In Japan, when you go to a restaurant, sometimes or most of the time you'll get a warm towel on a plate or maybe like a room temperature one in a little packet. Those are called oshibori. You use those to clean your hands before you eat. They're not like a napkin or anything. You're not supposed to like wipe your face or wipe the table or anything like that. It's just for your hands before you eat, so that you're all nice and clean and fresh.
Okay, so to install your eSIM, first download the app, then create an account and select Japan and choose the plan you want to buy. Don't forget to add the coupon, and if you like, you can also enable auto top-up, which will stop your eSIM from running out of data. And if you are worried about that, you can either monitor your usage inside the app or add a widget to your home screen. Also, Saily transacts in US dollar, so if that's not your native currency, make sure you're using a card that has decent exchange rates. In this case, I'm using my Wise business card. Now, before we go any further, I strongly recommend doing this at home before you travel and on a stable Wi-Fi connection. The installation only takes a minute, but the last place you want to be doing this is in a busy airport with patchy signal. And don't worry, your eSIM won't activate until you connect to a local network in Japan, so you can install in advance. Now, once you've checked out, you should see an Install eSIM button. Tap that, and then select whether you want to install on your device or someone else's. Then tap Start eSIM Install and activate, and then continue. This activating stage can take a minute or two, so just leave the screen open and don't switch to another app while it runs, because interrupting this can cause the installation to fail. Once it's done, you'll be able to choose where you want to use the eSIM, then tap Continue, and then Data Only. Now, once that's installed, go to your phone settings, tap Mobile Service, and you'll see under SIMs your new Saily eSIM, which in my case is called Travel-Webbing. And the first thing I recommend you do is rename that to something more recognizable. So tap on it, then tap Mobile Plan Label, then Custom Label, and in this case, I'll call it Saily-Japan. Now go back, and if you're ready to switch it on, toggle Turn on this line, and then toggle Data Roaming. Now go back, tap Mobile Data at the top, and select your new Saily eSIM and make sure Allow Mobile Data Switching stays toggled off. That means your phone will now use your new Saily eSIM for data. And I recommend going back to SIMs and selecting your primary SIM and making sure data roaming is toggled off. You'll still be able to receive calls and texts to your normal number, and FaceTime and WhatsApp. Those will still work because they'll use Saily for data, but importantly, your normal home carrier will now be switched off for data roaming. So the installation is pretty straightforward, but if you do have any difficulties, Saily does have customer support, which is available 24/7 via in-app chat and email. And honestly, I found that the fastest way to reach someone was just to open the in-app chat, request to speak to a human, and I was able to talk to someone within minutes. I've tested a lot of eSIM providers, and some have fantastic support and some don't respond at all, and Saily, from my experience, is among the best.
So tip number 3 is don't tip. In Japan, it's rude to tip people because you're implying that they are not paid enough by their employer and you have to give them more money. So you don't tip if you go out to eat or anything. Just the price is the price. I had an incident where I was staying at my friend's house and we ordered a Domino's, and she lived on the 20th floor, and we didn't realise the elevators were broken until the poor delivery driver had already walked up about 13 flights of stairs. So we went down to meet him, and it just sort of broke our hearts that we couldn't give him a tip for walking up 15 flights of stairs to make this delivery, but we couldn't. But it just felt wild because it's just so natural to do in our society.
You got Domino's in Japan?
Yeah, we've got Domino's in Japan.
Do you get like a special flavour?
It just tastes like regular Domino's. We would order it when we felt homesick because it just tasted the same as home.
Yes.
So, is Saily worth it for Japan? I think for most travelers, yes. The setup is straightforward, the network coverage includes 2 carriers that are well regarded and reliable, and the security features are included with every eSIM. That 10GB plan at $17.99, or closer to $15 with the coupon, is pretty hard to beat for a month of data. And if you're a heavier user, the unlimited plan gives you 5GB of high-speed data every day, which resets every morning. so one heavy day doesn't wreck the rest of your trip. Link and coupon are in the description box if you want to grab it along with those passes. And if you found this video useful, please do give it a like and check out this video next if you'd like to see how Saily did in a part of the UK that's regarded for having the worst signal in the country. It's awful. Check out this video. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon.